Thank you all for joining today. My name is Ali Rabinowitz. I am one of the UGE advisors here at the Center for Undergraduate Global Engagement. We are very excited about our opportunities this summer in Paris. Some kind of tweaks to each of these program opportunities, which is really great. So thank you all for joining. And we'll just go ahead and get started. So this summer, this info session is primarily focusing on these four programs. If you're interested in the Court in Paris program, there'll be an info session later today that we're going to be hosting that will be recorded as well. So I can always share that with information with you if you've already kind of registered for that event. But this info session is really going to be going over these four programs: our Columbia Summer Creative Writing in Paris, Columbia Summer in Paris English track, which we've now separated from the French immersion track, and then the Columbia Summer Accelerated Intermediate French in Paris program. You'll note that most of these programs are all going to be 5 weeks, with the exception of the Accelerated Intermediate French in Paris program. That program is 6 weeks just because of kind of the intensity of the program and kind of the content that you're going to be reviewing during the summer semester. Please note that although we have these kind of different programs, different tracks, you can't mix and match courses across these programs. So if you do plan to participate on one of these opportunities, you need to participate in that specific program and in kind of the academics that are course offerings that are available on that track. So that is just one thing important to note. And you also note that some of these programs require, a level of the language. Our French immersion track in particular, you do need 4 semesters of French language because you'll be taking both of those courses entirely in French. So we want to make sure that you're prepared and not going to be feeling overwhelmed during your semester abroad. And then secondly, for the Accelerated Intermediate French, because you're kind of taking accelerated in that very quick fashion, that course only requires 2 semesters of the French language, just because you'll be working on the intermediate level at that time. So we're just going to kind of go through each of these programs, what they all offer, and kind of the opportunities you can look forward to. I know I've had questions recently about kind of will specific info sessions be held for each of these programs. We're actually going to be hosting a Creative Writing in Paris info session on January 23rd, so in the new year, around 1 p.m. It's going to be a virtual info session. So if you're particularly keen on this opportunity, I'd recommend to join us, and you'll get an opportunity to chat with the faculty members. So just as kind of an overview, this program, again, is a 5-week program. Last summer, it was only 4 weeks. We've kind of got feedback and saw that students need more time to kind of reflect on their work, reflect on their kind of creative craft, and really have more opportunities, to push themselves forward, in Paris. So we've expanded it by 1 week, which is really great. And this program, what's unique is that it's a very combined workshop and seminar format. So there's going to be a variety of field trips to really help you reflect on the writers and artists of the past. And this will also open up opportunities for you to get feedback on your own creative writing endeavors. The faculty members, Nellie Herman and Dorothy or Dottie Lasky, they are both poetry and prose writers, and they're very interested, I would say, on your specific interests. So, we've worked with students from a wide variety of different backgrounds, and they're very excited to just kind of support you along your own journey in the creative writing field. So for this particular program, you will be taking 2 courses, each worth 3 points. The first one is What is Creative Writing For? Prose Writing in Paris. The other one is Writing Through Art, Poetry in Paris. The What is Creative Writing For course is really an opportunity to kind of plot your journey along the themes of this program. So kind of in relation to the different excursions and site visits that will be taking place. I know that they visit a variety of different, writers' homes or apartments in Paris. Last summer, they went to a cheese museum to kind of get the sensory side of things, and really kind of engage on a deeper level with your art. So it's really kind of just an opportunity to examine how your creative writing might be kind of, applied kind of as a practice. This course in particular will count towards the medical humanities major at Columbia. So if you are majoring in that, this course, What is Creative Writing For, will count towards that. On the other hand, Writing Through Art, this will really explore the interdisciplinary practice of poetry, and again, kind of focus on both the visual and textual fields. So like I shared, there's going to be different opportunities to kind of just expand the way of thinking of how your creative writing path can really intersect with the environment and the world around you. So this program is open to undergraduates. It's actually also open to graduate students. So if we have any graduate students listening in, this is an opportunity available to Columbia, Barnard, and students from a wide variety of different universities as well. You should have experience in creative writing. This program does require that you submit a creative writing sample of just your work. It could be formal or informal. So it's kind of, again, wherever you're coming from, we're really looking to kind of meet you where you're at. This, along with kind of all of our other programs, you do need to be in good standing, academic and disciplinary standing. So you must have a 3.0 cumulative GPA and a 3.0 before this semester going abroad. So that's spring semester before going abroad during the summer. Now, for this program in particular, this is kind of the details about the application process. Our application deadline is going to be Sunday, February 22nd. So you still have a good amount of time to kind of work your way through the application process. But you will need to submit a set of application items, official transcripts. If you're a first-year student, you can wait until your grades are submitted for the this last fall semester in order to submit any official transcripts or GPA. You still have time until grades are posted, so that's totally okay. You have a statement of interest, really kind of just getting to know you as a student, your academic, personal, career goals, and what we're kind of just kind of seeing what you would like to get out of this program. Again, that writing sample, it could be, again, formal, informal, really experience in prose writing or poetry, but we can go beyond that. I mean, if there's a specific topic or area of interest to you, feel free to submit that there. If you're applying from another university, you'll also need to obtain homeschool approval or clearance from your institution itself. So I encourage you just to touch base with your university to kind of learn more about their own process. So if you're interested in the creative writing Paris program, feel free to scan that QR code. All these links too that are highlighted in red, when I do share the recording, you'll be able to kind of click through and link out to each of these programs. So there's a lot more information within these slides as well. Now moving on to the English track. The English track, we have run the English track before. It was kind of more combined in like what we used to just call the Columbia Summer in Paris program. But we've noticed kind of with the growing number of course opportunities that it was just a good idea to kind of just separate them out. So the English track and the French immersion track do have separate applications and do require slightly different application items. But they're still going to be running over that 5-week period, so May 30th to July 4th. On this program in particular, we're really going to get the opportunity to engage in the rich and complex history, culture, and society of France while completing like your coursework in English. So the curriculum for this particular track is really suitable for students of any major. You don't need any French language abilities to apply because all the courses will be taught in English. So if you're just kind of interested in learning more about Paris, learning more about French history, culture, this will be a great track to do it on. And especially because this summer we're offering a wide variety of opportunities. For this program, you can mix and match between what the courses are offered. So you really get to actually choose between these 5 courses, which 2 classes you would like to take. So this is really based on your own personal goals, what your interests may be. So this is kind of what's outlined for each of these opportunities. Now I know that for each of these courses, you'll note that 3 of them are going to be able to fulfill the global core requirements, so the migrations, displacement, and dysphoria in French and North African context, France and the African dysphoria, and the endangered languages in the global city, language, culture, and migration in New York, Paris, and beyond, which is one of our newer global core offerings by Professor Perlin. I know that Goodry and Dobie have taught previously on our Summer in Paris program. So it's great to have them back, but these kind of added another Global Core opportunity available for you. Now, what's special about this track this summer is that we are also offering art humanities and music humanities as standalone classes. So they will count towards the core requirement. Now, it is important to note that these classes, if you're a visiting student tuning in, Columbia students will be prioritized for enrollment to take art or music hum. And it's important to also note that, if you do wish to take art or music hum, you can't take it simultaneously. You will need to supplement your experience by taking another course that fulfills a global core requirement. So this might be great if you're a C student where you only need to complete art or music hum, and you're interested in kind of also fulfilling a global core. This could be a great opportunity to do so. Within the application itself, there will be an item for you to kind of list out your course preferences. Efforts will be made to honor your requests, but please note it can't be guaranteed. We're still kind of going over the summer 26 class schedule when classes will be held. Some classes may overlap, so we'll do our best to really honor your request. Now, for eligibility, kind of same thing goes. Currently enrolled undergraduate students in good academic and disciplinary standing, and graduate students and postgraduates are also eligible to apply. Again, you must also be in good academic disciplinary standing and have that 3.0 GPA cumulative and before the semester you go. Again, application deadline is Sunday, February 22nd, and kind of the application is a bit smaller, really kind of more of the application items, official transcript, statement of interest. Also, that course selection item is something that's a part of it, but more of just kind of to gauge interest of where you're at. And again, that homeschool approval or clearance form. So if you're interested in this program, feel free to scan the QR code, because this is kind of an exciting opportunity that we're offering Art Hum and Music Hum as kind of these standalone classes this summer. So now moving on to the French immersion track. This program, again, 5 weeks. Really, again, I would say what's unique about this program is that you get to just go outside of the typical tourist experience, and you kind of get the opportunity to gain more of that insider's view of the city. Because you may already be very experienced in the French language, you really kind of get that opportunity to just dive a little bit deeper into the language and kind of get to experience it, really throughout the entire city. So this curriculum is really here to provide you with an opportunity to just deepen your appreciation of the Parisian culture, and really, again, improve your French language skills. For this particular program, you will be taking 2 3-point courses on this, so there's no really opportunity to mix and match. The first one, Autrice Cinéaste, is kind of the woman of French and Francophone cinema, which is new for this summer. There's also the modern Paris in Francophone literature and film. I know the first course, we're kind of working currently to see if that will count towards a global core opportunity. So not only will this be a fantastic place to kind of immerse yourself in the French language, but also maybe an opportunity to complete global core. We'll keep our website as up to date as possible once we get more information. But these classes are really meant to challenge the way you look at the history and culture of France, and especially kind of bring in various perspectives while using the city as kind of that essential resource throughout the program. So there's going to be a lot of opportunities engaging with local organizations, local communities, and kind of getting to, again, see more out beyond that touristy view of what it means to live and be in Paris. So this one does have a couple of more eligibility requirements, but generally the same. Currently enrolled undergraduate students in good academic and disciplinary standing, graduate students and postgraduates are also eligible to apply. The only key difference is just that you must have taken, again, the 4 semesters, at least 4 semesters of French language or the equivalent to qualify. And we are also asking that you have taken at least 1 course at the university level. So if you have AP credits or if you've kind of learned it all throughout high school, we do prefer that you've at least taken 1 class of 1 French content course at that university level. It could also be, I would say, maybe you finish your intermediate 2 and you're ready to kind of take that next step. That could be a course that qualifies as well. So you will need to have a minimum 3.0 language GPA for this program as well. Again, we really kind of just want to make sure that you're not going to be feeling overwhelmed taking these 2 classes and really kind of fully immersing yourself into the French language on this program. Again, the application deadline for this is also Sunday, February 22nd. There are just really the key difference is that this program does require that you submit 1 letter of recommendation. This recommendation should really attest to your language abilities in French and should be completed by your most current or most recent French language instructor. So if you're taking a content class next semester, or you're kind of completing intermediate 2 and you're again ready to take that next step, it would be great. That would be a great person to ask for a letter of recommendation. So if you're interested in this program, scan a QR code. Another great opportunity to kind of just expand your language skills. And I do also know that sometimes these classes do tend to count towards a French major or minor. So I do encourage you to get in touch with the department for more information about that. Now, lastly, we have our Intermediate French in Paris program. This is an intensive 6-week program because really the objective of this class is to continue your study of the French language while taking advantage of the immersive experience. So you'll really be in the classroom, I would say a good chunk of the time, but then also going on different excursion opportunities or site visits to kind of test out your French language skills. So this course is meant to prepare you for the advanced French language and culture, really on it with an emphasis on developing accurate speaking, reading, and writing skills. The program instructor, Karen Santos da Silva, she's fantastic at this. She's really there to meet students where they're at. She understands that this can be a lot of content to be studying within a short, intensive 6-week period. So she's really there to provide that one-on-one support and be able to kind of guide you through this semester abroad. So you'll be taking only 1 6-point course, Accelerated Intermediate French. You will be meeting 14 hours per week, in addition to 2 afternoon theater workshops, kind of again, opportunities kind of engage more on a different level of kind of your French language skills. But really at the conclusion of this course, you'll be able to communicate with French native speakers, really navigate life in Paris. You'll be able to confidently express simple concepts in written and spoken French, be able to describe, analyze, different cultural experiences, and really kind of, again, have a better mastery of the French pronunciation and even colloquial French, kind of learn a little bit more about that as well. So again, this particular program is really meant for if you're kind of finished up elementary 2, or you're kind of been placed into intermediate 1, and you kind of want to fulfill that language core requirement, or just want to kind of continue your study of the French language. This is a great program to do that on. So again, for eligibility, currently enrolled undergraduate, could also be graduate students as well, must have taken at least 2 semesters of French language or just placed out of elementary French 2. And then again, you must also, really that key thing is just minimum 3.0 GPA if applicable. So if you just took your placement exam and you've already tested out of elementary French 2, but you haven't taken a French language course here at the university level, that's okay. We understand it's more if applicable, but we will kind of just want to make sure that kind of you're prepared for the intensity of the program. It's going to be a lot of time, really kind of just focusing and honing in on your skills. So the application, again, due September 22nd. Again, key difference, letter of recommendation. This letter of recommendation should attest your abilities in French and should be also completed by your most current or recent French instructor. We have worked with students in the past that maybe placed out of elementary 2, but had a very good experience with either, a high school, teacher or maybe a tutor that you've worked with for many years. We've accepted recommendations from other sources as well. Preferably, of course, a current or most recent French language instructor, but we understand that students are coming from a variety of different backgrounds and interests in order to expand their French language. So again, if you're interested in applying to this program, I do encourage you to scan the QR code to learn more. So now kind of just a brief overview, as I've kind of talked about, all of these programs do overlap, but they do vary in the course content, what you'll be learning, what you'll be engaging with. But there are just some kind of general considerations to be aware of during your time in Paris. So just life in Paris. There's opportunities to live in furnished single room, studio style apartments or homestays are located throughout Paris, typically a 35 to 50-minute commute. Some programs, for instance, like the French immersion program, we understand that students might be coming in with a very advanced level of the language. So if you are interested in independent housing, that is an opportunity available to you. Each program application does specify which programs offer independent housing options. But if you're too kind of nervous about, it could be challenging sometimes to really find, housing that's available just during that short 5-week, 6-week period. So we do also offer, again, furnished single rooms, on your own, shared kitchen, studio style apartments, kind of more studettes. They're kind of a smaller space room with a bed, kitchen on your own, but that's an opportunity as well. And then homestays too. If you're kind of interested in kind of what that local experience is like, we're always happy to explore homestay opportunities. These programs will be intensive, so you should expect to devote much of your time to classes. Classes typically take place Monday through Thursday. Fridays are then reserved for excursion opportunities and also public programming that happens at the Columbia Global Center. Some of these activities kind of generally have included like a boat cruise on the Seine, private museum tours, gallery tours, and then even like events and receptions that take place at Reed Hall. So there's really a wide variety of opportunities to keep you engaged and kind of get the opportunity to explore Paris even further. There may be some mandatory excursions that are tied to your curriculum or to your course. So once kind of you're interested, and once kind of that more information is shared, be sure to be aware about those as well. But all activities, co-curricular, extracurricular, will be taking place on Fridays during this summer. So yeah, there's just kind of really a good wide variety of opportunities available to you to really immerse yourself in this experience, and also to get to know your peers who are participating on all of these different programs. So I do want to highlight just these are the summer 25 financial considerations. This is also still accessible on the website, but I really do want to highlight that, these will change for the summer 26. Every summer, the points per tuition adjusts. Program fees do have to slightly adjust, which is really kind of that housing fee. So it is important to note that these are kind of ballpark numbers, but will likely be a bit higher for the next summer 26. Not too much, but just want to highlight that kind of the costs related to these programs. So the tuition points, you all will be taking 6 credits across all of these different programs. So the tuition is per point. So last semester it was at 12,732. The program fees do vary depending on which housing opportunity you're interested in. They do vary on kind of that range. So last summer it was 2,000 for kind of those single rooms, student style apartments, and then 3,000 for some of those homestay opportunities, just because meals are much more included in the program. If you're also a visiting student or a non-Columbia student, there is a document fee that just to obtain your transcript at the end of the semester. So just to be aware of that. So again, these again are just some things to start thinking about, especially as you plan out, because we understand that during the summer, if you are a student on financial aid, that does change significantly. Typically Columbia grants aren't made available during the summer semester. Federal funding might be made available, but it really kind of depends on your aid package. So we do encourage you to speak with a financial aid officer or even your homeschool's financial aid officer, just to learn more about the kind of opportunities available to you. But because this can be a significant barrier for students, we are also offering what's called our Global Learning Scholarship. This is available to all Columbia College, Columbia Engineering, or General Studies students who demonstrate financial need. The deadline to apply is Friday, February 13th. So it is a bit before your application, like your program application deadlines, but we do require this information just a little bit earlier, since we're working with various offices on campus, just to kind of understand students' needs and be able to kind of allocate that funding. So if you are interested in applying to any of these programs and also want to apply to the GLS, please apply by that February 13th deadline. You'll be notified of the GLS award before needing to confirm any of your participation. So we'll be sure to keep in touch with you about kind of your GLS scholarship application. It is a separate application within our system, but it's only like a one item thing to do that should take no more than 5 minutes. So it's a really quick application, again, kind of just gauging your needs, what you're looking for, and how we can best support you. Applying for the GLS will not impact admission to the program. This is completely separate from program admission, so we do strongly encourage you to apply. You can scan this QR code to learn more about the GLS scholarship and the opportunities available to you all. And then really lastly, to just kind of close it out, please contact me. I'm here to help anytime. I'm very quick to respond over my emails. I'm also available, for virtual appointments. So feel free to connect with me anytime if you have more specific questions, because I understand this session in particular is really kind of just a very broad overview. So of course, when we could dive into the specifics of each of these programs, there's much more, intricacies and differences. So I'm more than happy to kind of support you and answer any questions that you may have. So that about does it. Thank you for joining.